What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to Black Man Unfiltered Network. Get your popcorn ready. Ladies, get your glass of wine together right now. Sip it, because we're about to take you on an emotional journey that you've never been on in your life. You're going to laugh, you're going to cry, you're going to be mad, you're going to be happy, you're going to agree, you're going to disagree, and that's what Black Man Unfiltered is about. We want all of you to have a voice, and this is the place where voices are heard. So thank you guys, because we're going to have the conversations that nobody else wants to have, and we're going to come to a medium, we're going to come to solutions, or we're going to agree to disagree, but you're in the right place to do it. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and I want to introduce you guys to all the shows that's on the network coming up on this next slide. Peace!
Welcome in, everybody. Welcome to the One and One Sports Show. This is the Black Man Unfiltered Network. I am Dante.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Shawnee.
And man, we got we to nearing the end to the conference finals. We got the finals start June 2nd, so that's a week away. And so, man, I appreciate everybody for checking out. I appreciate last week, everybody in the chat. Boy, I got to see you. I appreciate everybody in the chat, supporting and, being, a lot of conversations going on. So I really appreciate that. Hope y'all bringing the same thing next week. What's up, Tommy B? Especially you. I know you was really bringing it last week. So, Shawnee, what you want to start with, man?
Man, I know you want to start with the Nick Saban, Jimbo Fisher whole ordeal. About the whole, again, it's related to the NIL. I know we spoke about that a couple of times. My thing is, I want to say last season, I believe these two got into it also. Again, I forgot what was the topic was, but they seem now, especially since A&M joined the SEC and Fisher became their head coach, it seemed like, especially during them SEC media days, they always going back and forth with it. So I kind of laugh at it. Like I mentioned I don't know if it was last week or the week before about the whole NIL. I see both sides because I look at the whole NIL thing like a Pandora's box. Yeah, I'm all for the athletes getting paid for their name, image, likeness. But it does open another side. A lot of people only focus on one side of it, as far, especially the sports fan. They just look at the player side getting paid. Yeah, they should be getting paid. But it does present another side. And these are head coaches. So they have to deal with stuff that the fans don't have to. They got to deal with potentially the money changing the personality of the player, what problems it can cause in the locker room. They may have to deal with, sometimes you don't know what contract these players be signing. And sometimes you just hope they don't sign a contract that'll take advantage of them. And the coach is going to have to, it's going to be feeling that during the season. You just never know what it can bring, But then I also look at it from the other side as far as coaches, they all throughout basically student athlete history, from football to basketball, hell, even volleyball, they was always able to do what they want to do with the players. Especially in football, if a player wanted to transfer, I remember we was talking about transfer portal. They will let a player transfer, but basically limit his choices.
Yep.
So coaches always had like this control over the players. So some of it come off like what Saban was saying, because like almost the coaches kind of whining about because they lose some of their control, where they think they lose some of the control. But a lot of this, the NIL stuff, I don't think they should have ever had control of that. But since it's just beginning, all the potential downfalls from it can stem from whatever these contracts the players may sign or what may lead up in the locker room or whatnot. But as far as between Saban and Fisher, and you might as well sprinkle a little Deion Sanders in that. He got.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So,
I loved it. I loved it. I love the Jimbo. I love the big schools going against each other, and I love the way that for basically if you weren't familiar with the story, basically Nick Saban said flat out. He said hell, read about it in the paper. I mean, Jackson State paid a guy $1 million last year, a really good Division I player to come to the school. And I was like, he said it verbatim. He said Jackson State and called them out. As for for you to say something like that, and for Travis Hunter to be like, man, my mom's still staying with 5 children, still living in a 3-bedroom apartment. Like, what are you talking about? And so for him to call it out, and for you to basically, he's doing this to sway some power. And so let me take that back. He's doing it to sway power because he knows when he speaks, things are going to change, and they want to get a hold of the NIL because he's the king of having power. Hell, this is the same man that before he ran the up-tempo offense was trying to get rules changed because he knew that's the way to beat his team. Mobile quarterbacks are playing a high up-tempo style, wearing out those big D linemen. Now they're wearing you out with the pocketbook, and he knows. If everybody sees Alabama, they know they have the equipment and everything, first-class facilities, but they don't have the donor base that say A&M does. I won't even bring up Texas, but in his same conference, A&M, the oil money from the old Texas guys. And a lot of people got richer during the pandemic, playing with crypto, or different, just different business deals they're doing. So they have money, and we know what it is. We know what it is. What's up, Poppy? We know what it is. We know NIL is partially companies paying for things, but it's also the booster saying, you know what? I got this much money. See if you can work a deal around it. I mean, hell, Texas made a whole non-profit, and every offensive lineman got $50,000, and no surprise, they got a couple 5-star offensive linemen, and that was their biggest need. And so, but all right, I see here. You said Alabama in here. I yell War Eagles. So you think Nick Saban needs to sit down and stop being a hater? He's been paying players, so now you want to exactly. He's been paying players, and then my thing is, if you know what happened and you know that this man was on your old staff, I'm talking about Jimbo Fisher, why would you say anything knowing, like he said, I grew up, I came up under his system, and I wanted to do things the right way. He said that's why I never went back and coached under him. And if you don't know about their beef, Jimbo Fisher was going to get a job in the University of Alabama system. He was going to get a job at UAB. Nick Saban knew his potential and thought that was too close to getting some of his players. He nixed him from getting that job. And then as far as nixing him from getting that job, when he gets the job at Florida State, Florida is a big SEC country as far as getting players. And he wasn't happy with him getting that, and he had to compete with him there, and now he has to compete with him in his own conference. So now with the playing field even, because if you pull up the recruiting rankings, you know what happens when a team gets that many guys. Like you say, oh, those stars don't matter. Yeah, they do. Look at the teams that won in the national championship. Look at the last 5 national championships, and you will see people in the top 2, top 3 of the recruit. So, what's going on, Brittany Bay? What's going on?
Appreciate it, Brittany.
Appreciate that. So
going back to our Marvel movies.
So like as far as like calling people out, like I think it was in poor taste. I think it's I don't think he has this same sentiment. I don't think he calls A&M out if he wins the national championship, but he knows if he wins that national title, he might get a couple of those guys. And he knows they don't have that same type of NIL structure, but it's here now. It's here. It's time for these guys to be able to make their money. You've made your millions. The university makes more from them. And let's be honest, it's not like you're not getting a break. It still doesn't say the school has to pay them, which it should, because the school, calls them amateurs. But when you get multi-billion-dollar contracts, that's not amateur, man. It's not amateur.
No, I think this is, Alabama is Alabama, because Alabama, all they have down there is really collegiate sports. And, where they recruit from these major hotbeds, like you're saying, Florida, Texas, California, especially from California. You got all these high-star recruits, but they all seem to be funneling their way to Alabama. So, there's something going on under the table with Alabama. And I guess now, they lose one high-star recruit that go to Jackson State, so they had to call that out of the minute they already have. And that, I think, I forgot his name for Jackson State, but I think when they got him, that ruffled, it wasn't just Alabama feathers they ruffled. Just because they're not used to a player that caliber shooting an HBCU. They're used to getting those type of players.
Yep.
And then, of course, you're going to call out A&M, because A&M, because didn't A&M finish like the top 3 last year in recruiting?
Last year they were number 1, and then the year before that, I think they were top 10. And
so they up there too. They just
they just had a historic class, and it's one of those deals. And I'll be honest, and I know everybody loves to beat their chest on the SEC. We know it's the best, but sometimes we know why it's the best, and it's because you got a central number of teams like the Alabamas and the Auburns. And, when they're rolling, because, they have to be top-notch because your rival's top-notch. So they got to get guys. And then every now and again, you get when Ole Miss had that top 5 class. And I was just like, they paid for it. Then here come the suspensions. Here come the sanctions, because you know what time it is. You know what it is, man. Like, don't let's not play stupid here. And, and you get mad that now it's legal. You can have NIL legally. Yeah, Texas is A&M is going to flex that because A&M got little brother syndrome. They have little brother syndrome to Texas, which is crazy that they've done all this recruiting, gotten all these players, and you still haven't even won your division, let alone the conference. So they ponied up the money. And it's like, you can't knock them for that. You can't knock Deion, what he's doing over in Jackson State, where he's bringing more players to HBCUs. He's strengthening the swag. Now, what he does have to do is, hey, whoever wins, and then more than likely the favorite will be Jackson State. If you win the swag, I need you to go in. You can't lay a dud in the Celebration Bowl, because that was huge. Because it's like, I tell my friends all the time, like, look, I bleed purple and gold as far as Prairie View and them, but once it comes to the SWAC, whoever wins, I'm rooting against them for the MEAC, because that's my conference versus theirs.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the two Division I conferences in HBCU football. So it's like, I'm rooting for them, and I'm like, damn, you let us down. And, and I'm in a group chat or at a Facebook group where they're like going back and talking about it. And FAMU, they new to the conference. So they were like, we really the champs. And because they lost early to them this season by a few points, but it was just like, when you go, you got to represent. And I was actually on a Twitter room, and they were talking about what HBCUs need to do to get better and how they can produce more talent. And they were talking about the linemen. And I didn't jump in because I just came into it late. That's something that the next days I want to see Deion doing. Get the linemen, because getting them, there's only so few. You can find a receiver that people slept on. You can find some DBs that people slept on. But them big guys up front, like the guy James Houston that he got that was drafted, he came from Florida. And so you can get those transfers, but if you can get to the point where he's getting the front seven early, that's a problem. That's when they're gonna probably pay him enough to leave. And they would pay him to leave just so he wouldn't strengthen the rest. Because just like Alabama strengthens Auburn by all the good players they have, that's what would happen with the Alcorns. Even Mississippi Valley is stepping that game up. Alabama State, TSU, Grambling will make a comeback, Southern, and so on and so forth. So I'm really interested to see how far he can push it. I really want to see it, because I'm excited. And my thing is, I love Coach Prime, but I know the end game. I followed his career. He is about the dollar. So let's keep it 100. This is a guy that's made millions of dollars in his career. And he's made however much he's made being a broadcaster. It's gonna come a time, and I got a weird feeling it's gonna be around the time that his son graduates. Mm-hmm. It's gonna be around that time. If he can get his son drafted, and he can get some other guys, probably that corner. I saw him in practice, and I saw him, the Travis Hunter kid, and I was like, if he can get those guys drafted along with some other people, he's gonna feel like my job is done. Now I go take the big bag somewhere else, and I build up these programs, and I've done what I can. So I'm glad of, some guys that don't have the cachet, the Eddie Georges of the world, and the Hugh Jackson. I mean, not to take a shot at Grambling, but to take a shot at Grambling. He has
Hugh Jackson, he just got there. his name brought cachet. Well, I guess it could potentially revive that football program.
It could.
I think if they were somehow able to keep Art Browse as their OC, that would have changed that conference huge. Yeah. I mean, Grambling offense just would have been off the charts with that dude, but Browse, he's a black mark right now. You can't touch that dude. You can't touch him.
Mm-hmm. Especially this happened in the time and the awareness and the era that we put on things like the crimes that were accused.
He got that Ray Rice. He got that Ray Rice touch. Ray Rice. As soon as that video came out, they left him alone.
Nah, that's it.
Browse,
and I would say
same thing.
And as far as people that are getting in trouble and doing corrective actions, if you look at it from what I was reading, Ray Rice has probably done as much around the area of stuff that Michael Vick has done to get his image rehabilitated and to do as much as he can. But it's just like with what he did in the video, like we saw the dogs, we didn't see Michael Vick do the dog fighting with the dogs. Mm-hmm. So if you would have seen that, I don't think he ever would have came back. As much as dogs are loved in this country, and with him seeing him hit a woman like that, now they were never gonna let him back. And all the things at Baylor, which is crazy. Some of the players. I know one, and I guess it's the one player that he did that had the sexual assault allegation case in when he was at Boise, and when he came to Baylor. That player, I want to say he got found guilty, but like someone like a guy, he was like 6'9", Sean Oakman. He got found not guilty, but his career was just
he was basically, I want to say clean because I don't know the full details. But yeah, because his name was in there, yeah, his career was pretty much
over.
And he didn't do anything.
He could have been like another, not to say he was them be that good, like Calais Campbell. They were guys of that height, and it's just like, you know, so but when other people take actions and things like that happen, somebody's gonna take the fall, and it's not gonna be the millionaire coaches and the administrators. It's never gonna be them, except for Art Browse, who probably still took a bag home, which is the thing that I can't believe it. I can't believe that, you know, players, they're so mad. Like I said, Anisha the Queen, you were saying about players getting played and risking their lives. Like I'm totally with you on that one, because like I heard a guy say once, when you talk about players getting paid and playing, them guys in the practice squad, this isn't the NFL. They're going full speed. These dudes are practicing. They coming down practicing special teams, practicing defense, practicing getting ready to play. You know, when he was in college, Lamar Jackson, you know, you come in and you hitting them guys. Them guys are taking hits. Although they don't get the name, image, and likeness deal, that's the next step. They got to push for them to get their money too, because everybody, these coaches are complaining about like the 1% finally getting something, you know, or in some cases like a Texas where, you know, every lineman gets $50K. You know, that's a sweet, and I think you're going to see more of that. All you got to do is put the regulations in place, pay the guys, you get in your TV bag, and, you know, keep it moving. Like, you know, because the coaches got apparel ship deals. They got deals with the shoe companies. Like, they're getting money hands over fist. They're getting appearance fees. I mean, and they getting mad because I heard something like A&M, they had offered some players, you know, like some money to do something. And they were like, man, we're getting like $5K a week just to do like a quick little ad. And I was like, whoa.
Some of them, I think, it goes even as quick as just shouting out on social media. Just a little post right there. They just... I'm like, hell, I don't do too much shout outs on social media, but you're gonna pay me $5K. I will put down a quick post.
I'm about to be a what does they call it now when you social? I'm about to be a full live social media personality, like hell.
You're watching that stuff rack up. Oh, she a Cam Newton
fan. I feel you.
They haven't really. Well, Auburn has. They had a good season that kicked 6 since Cam Newton left.
Yeah,
I think that was the last time they had a good season.
They've had some, but I think what you say normally is when the teams are competitive, and they are like your rival is so good, sometimes it's supposed to sway the other way. Like, nobody remembers at this point when Alabama was down before Nick Saban and Auburn used to win the Iron Bowl every year. Like when they had the Ronnie Brown in them and Cadillac Williams and Carlos Dansby and they had all those guys, Jason Campbell. Like, it's flipped the other way, but Alabama has had such a historic run, it never flipped back. So if you have a coach that has a couple of 7 and 5s, 8 and 4s, they don't care. They want him out. They're trying to. We got to beat Alabama. We want to win the SEC, and it's just like, because basically, if you could beat Bama, you can win the SEC. You know, and you know, but then you get LSU rising up and stuff. So it's been tough on them, but they better find a booster, because if Alabama's having problems getting the NIL, if Auburn becomes the NIL school, I bet you'll see watch if they get some wins over Bama and they get to the SEC title game, Bama will figure that NIL stuff out like quickly. But this is my last thing on the college tip. They've been talking about basically the system is crumbling. And they worried about NIL, the system could crumble altogether. And they were like, the Power 5 schools, basically, you need to break off and do their own thing. But if they do that, they absolutely have to find a way to do it and regulate it with people that know what they're doing. They got to get people that know what they're doing, because the NCAA doesn't know how. So if you get people from their old office, it's not enough. You need people to make sure that the players, like I heard from Texas, they were like, they haven't put out any NIL stuff because they're trying to get the IRS stuff straight. With Shiny, like you mentioned, you were spot on. You picked problems that they never had to have. First of all, problems they never had to have because they just gave them $50,000 in the duffel. And
exactly.
So now you have physical receipts and legitimate deals. Like I think Bijan Robinson got to deal with Lambo. And you know,
Lambo.
Yes, Lamborghini. I seen him in Lamborghini. He was like, my new NIL partnership. And I'm like, what the? He living the dream. I will say this. I know the NFL money is good, but he a running back. He might need to stay another year. He might need to just stay another year because
the way they shelf life is short right now.
You know, but as we switching off of that, man, basically we can really, I don't know, we can get into the Warriors and the Mavericks, even though that series is basically done. I mean, it wasn't like it was. To be honest, I wanted 6 games from each series minimum because you had that break before the finals, and it's just like, damn, what we gonna? It's like basketball about to be over. But I guess before we get into that, you want to talk about the All NBA teams?
I was listening to it this morning, and you hear all the time how basketball today is more positionless basketball.
Yeah,
it's positionless basketball. They even made the All-Star pretty much positionless, but I don't think people will have. I mean, of course, you're gonna have some debates. I always say you want to piss people off, create a list, and the All NBA team is basically a list. I mean, people gonna be upset somebody make first team, second team, whatever. Yeah. But I think it's really amplified now that they attach money to it.
Yeah.
So with that, you got, I know the biggest debate was again between Jokic and Embiid. If it was positionless, they will put both of them in there. Because you have to put Jokic in there since he's the MVP.
You would take
Embiid should have been first team as well. But then you're gonna have to go. Cause who was it? It was Jokic.
I got it right here. It's Jokic, Giannis, Tatum, Doncic, and Devin Booker. And see, and they you kind of do it somewhat positionless because Luka is not really a point guard; he's just a guard, and Devin's definitely a 2 guard. So it depends on how you place it. And I know people were mad, like, man, Embiid is, and I was literally talking to somebody on Facebook. They was talking about it, like, man, I don't like the way the game is going, and it's this. He was like, do you really enjoy it? I'm like, yeah. I was like, I got 2 All NBA centers. I got 2 MVP caliber centers, and he was like, just 2. And I'm like, well, it's Carl. And I didn't even get to tell him. There's Karl Anthony Towns. There's a guy like DeAndre Ayton who's coming along. I mean, there's a young big, if we can get him healthy in Memphis. I mean, in Golden State, there's a center. I want to see what he can do. He's young and talented. They got the kid from Memphis that's coming out in it. That's
Wiseman.
Here. What's up?
You talking about Wiseman with the Warriors?
Yes, Wiseman. Yes, I like Wiseman. I like his look up. I like him the little bit I saw at Memphis, and it's just like big men take time, and definitely when you get injured, an organization like the Warriors, they are not going to rush you back. Like they're not going to rush you back. They got a great medical staff, so I feel like if he comes back healthy, he can be a big piece in help. And to be honest, you could look at a team that could win a championship and get better because you got a young center. They can come in and play with bigs. So that could be real dangerous. So it could be real dangerous. But like as far as All NBA, like I understand saying that you want it positionless, but what if I think it would look bad and it would be hard to justify if most of the guys are guards and forwards. I mean, because sometimes you literally have a debate. People saying, man, LeBron made 3rd team. I was like, yeah, I ain't got no problem with that. I was just like, he didn't make the playoffs. DeRozan not making set first team. People were kind of griping at that. But I was like, man, you saw him, and that dude was he's 35, and he had a great start. He fizzled out, and it's just like I felt like he was an All-NBA performer. I had no problem with second team. I was happy to see Ja. I was happy to see a good mix. Like on the second team, you got Ja, Steph, KD, DeRozan, and Embiid. I mean, you can't say that things aren't going in a good place when that's your second team All-NBA. Those all guys first team caliber. And then on the third team, you got Trae young player. You got CP3. You got Pascal Siakam, and you got LeBron and Karl Anthony Towns. So I give him a lot of crap, but I appreciate him stepping up and performing to his potential this year, and hopefully he can keep it consistent. My only thing is, and I mention this, and I want to say this for everyone that loves to say, man, these journalists are voting on who can make these guys money and stuff like that. So do you not think it wouldn't be a problem if you had the average fan voting for it? Because it's gonna be a lot. Like when Yao Ming, trying to see a practice, I hated to see Yao Ming in the All-Star game, bro. I was just like, bro, we can't fight with 1 billion people, bro. We can't. He's always gonna be this amount of times All-Star. So it's like, bro. And as far as watching the NBA, just watching the games, I had League Pass, or I abuse it when it's free. And I would get it, but once the Lakers wasn't having a good season, I was like, I'll be down with the league pass. I don't really want it. I'll check in the national games and check in, any games when I can on NBA TV. But these journalists do have league pass. They do. Some people literally, like I remember when people was talking about DeMarcus Cousins making second team, and I was like, bro, these people are watching this man play. Like, he's a baller. Like, you've seen it. And I don't think enough fans sometimes get to see guys. A lot of people, what we call casuals. And like I ain't gonna lie, when it comes to the Raptors, I'm a casual. I'm not really, there's nothing for me to check for. I like Siakam as a player, but I'm not checking him out. I saw a lot of Timberwolves games.
Yeah, I saw about Siakam, because he up in Toronto, so he was like, they just don't get the national airtime.
Yeah, and it's difficult because it's about ratings, man. And the ratings for a team in Canada don't fit. It doesn't work into the calculation. So them getting TV games, the NBA sees them as a minus, unless they have like a top 5 player or something. And Kawhi was like, gotta put him on TV, and even though that was 1 year,
But I don't really agree with the whole voting. Well, the media with the votes and then as far as the money being tied up to it. But like you said, though, it's like either the media who they legit watch the games or fans, and you see that in All-Star games, and they will vote favorites.
Yeah.
They won't have you have dudes who legit deserve to be on that spot, and they'll get. I remember when Carmelo made the All-Star as a starter one time. It was like, and I think he missed.
Yeah.
At that time, he damn near missed like half the season.
Yeah, you know what? You know who else does that too? The players. The players.
Yeah.
And I explained to somebody, I was like, bro, they playing 82 games a year, and they constantly traveling. They're getting their game film. They're handling their off the court obligations. I mean, let's be honest. The women, they got them obligations. Family. If they got family, they got a lot going on. They are not sitting here watching. Man, let me go ahead and check this lead pass down to see who need to be all defensive team. Like, people were getting mad about different people not making the defensive team, and I was like, you know what? You never gonna please everybody. Jason Tatum, he didn't make All NBA last year. Jimmy Butler made it, and people kept just disrespecting him. Now, but they're meeting in the conference finals, and Tatum stepped his defense up, and he's first team All NBA. And we've seen the defense. We saw it. We've seen it every round. We've seen it every round, him stepping his game up. So I appreciate them. You mad you didn't make the All-NBA team? Don't do all that bitching and whining about it. Go get it on the court and let's see, make it
now,
happen.
like Stephen A. said, the only person I really believe who has a legit chance to whine and complain about it was Klay Thompson when they didn't vote him first team and he missed out on $30 million. So I was like, if anybody has a legit reason, it'll be Klay. But he moved past it. He's probably just happy now to be playing again. So he's starting to catch his rhythm, which we're gonna go get into that game. You see him catching his rhythm. Of course, they didn't do nothing. It was that game 4.
Yeah.
But I wanted to ask in game 4 that West Conference Finals, if you was Kerr, would you have left the reserves on the court? Me personally, I would.
Yeah.
The starters wasn't doing nothing. They got blown. They was 29 by the time they got off the court. So the reserves are one that fought back in the game. They started playing better defense. They had better ball movement. They were scoring. They cut it off from 29 to 8. And then also you see he put Curry in there. And then there was another break in action, and then that's when he put the rest of the starters in there. And I know Dallas put their starters in, but I'm like, the bench, y'all got us back here. Y'all deserve to finish this game out.
Yeah, I like Pop's theory. Pop used to do that. He used to just leave his starters, his bench guys in because they got, they rolling, they making it happen. Plus, in this situation, let's be real here. Teams that go up 3-0 in any series are 146-0, soon to be 147-0. They got the finals to deal with. And the way these injuries have been going on, nah, man. I'm leaving Steph. I'm leaving all my starters sitting on the bench, and because the Mavericks about to get blitzed. Game 5, they're about to get blitzed, and it's gonna be rough on them. It's gonna be rough on them. So with that said, Tommy B, man, how you feeling right now? Which matchup you want?
Ah, man, it's whatever. Whoever come out the east, man, they come get this smoke, man. We ready for whatever. Yeah, I was tripping off of Nick Saban rat ass stuff.
Hey,
Uh,
rat.
somebody got to explain to me how Tua was able to move his entire family to fucking Alabama from Hawaii. But your bitch ass on here talking about players getting played. If you don't shut the entire fuck up, Nick
That
Saban lost his motherfucking mind, and he
hold on,
shut up
William.
because Jimbo pretty much said, if you don't shut the fuck up, we got plenty of people that know what the fuck you do over there. And
No,
that's when he turned around and apologized because he already knew what was up. But they even had it's an NFL player, I can't remember his name, but that nigga said he turned down $400,000 not to go to Alabama.
Travis
Like, I
Johnson.
don't know why these niggas act like we don't know what the fuck going on. You
We know
feel
what
me?
it
Like,
is.
what the fuck is
Cam
wrong
Newton,
with you?
not the first.
Oh,
Everybody.
Cam Newton the one that really put it on blast with that mockery that they did with that shit. But it's just funny to me, like how like the to be honest with you, it's the epitome of white arrogance. Like
It
the
was.
audacity for you to literally be breaking a fucking law and then literally complain about somebody else who's not even breaking the law but beating you at your own game but legally. Like that's just the epitome of white arrogance. Like, are you out your fucking mind?
Like
The,
it makes no sense. And you right about them saying breaking laws. So they definitely on the basketball side, they brought them up on charges a few years ago because my brother, the director of the program that he was playing for, like he had to go and testify and stuff. And it was just like it was like a real deal because and I looked it up and I was like, well, how is it a crime? Basically, public institutions or members of a state, that's because that becomes a state agency. So if you're doing anything under the rules, technically they can pull you up on charges. So Tom B, you're exactly correct. Like they could, if they want to, they can find someone on Alabama. But like he said, oh, it's Nick Saban, the GOAT. Everybody, walks around him and tiptoes. I appreciate Jimbo Fisher because Jimbo know what time it was, and I appreciate him going and coming out and saying something because that was bull. That was 100% bull for you to come out there like that. Like, let's be real. From people that have experienced it and talked about it, let a young man, 18, 19 years old, go experience a Saturday night at LSU and Louisiana, and plus the per capita talent that they have. Let them experience the Saturday night there versus Tuscaloosa. And I bet you 10 times out of 10, they're going to have a set of
USC is back, y'all.
But I
Don't get
think
it
that
twisted. USC is back.
Hey,
That LA lifestyle about to be really keeping them Cali kids.
Hey, you seen they just got Jordan Addison. It's going down, but to be real, we need that balance. And I didn't know guys like Najee Harris was from the Bay Area. And I'm like, when I heard that, I was like, we got USC to get back just to balance that out. Like this, they get
California getting enough of the
Florida,
dust right now.
California is getting too much. So I'm glad they, first of all, as somebody roots for Texas, I'm glad they got Lincoln Riley up out of there. He was kicking our ass. But also to bring that balance back too, because it's like bring some of them guys back over there, man. Let's balance it back up. And USC got a big bag. Texas got a big bag. All the schools with big bag. Play the guys the NIL. Get the players and let put it on the field and see who can coach. See what can happen.
And
I think
and that's the
Clemson
part.
was the only
That's the
one
part
was
that Nick Saban.
testing them. Go ahead, Papa.
Yo, okay. How everybody doing today?
We good, man. We good.
Yo, and on that Nick Saban tip right there, bro. I think Nick Saban. The problem that's going on with Nick Saban is that he's seeing the writing on the wall right now. Which means that NIL have even the playing field right now, because 3, 4, 5 years ago, if y'all pay attention to college football, which y'all do, Nick Saban always had the number 1 or 2 recruiting class because he have the name to. His name alone in the Alabama brand name was good enough to recruit every best player of every state. You see what I'm saying?
And that paycheck that came with it.
And Nick Saban, all you have to do is go to your mama house or your grandmama house and tell them, hey, listen, this is Alabama, and I can put your kid in the NFL to play on every Sunday. That was his only.
Bro, they was dropping checks, bro. This nigga Tui whole family moved from Hawaii to Alabama, bro, and they was working class family. Go ahead.
That's what I'm going. I I got plenty. I got a lot of friends. I got a few NFL friends, and a few of them. I got let me see, two guys that actually went to Alabama. Man, they giving, and not only Alabama, every major program in the country paid you directly or indirectly. I remember when my homie signed with Florida State, they gave him a car, they gave him a brand new car, and they gave him a credit card so he can spend whatever money. It doesn't come for the school because they know how to cover their asses, but they gave them, like, if you're that good now you cannot just be just anybody. You have to be a top dog, at least coming out of high school, like a high recruit kind of player, you know. And that's why Nick Saban is mad. That's why, like, he tore his heart out. Like, he was talking too much, and he let that go by mistake. But that's his real feelings right there. And he just but every program, Ohio State, USC, every program, Division I, if they got the long package, they paying players. Reggie Bush has to give up.
USC is innocent.
They gave Reggie Bush 250 bands. I mean, 700.
No, they did not. Bands. No, they did not. That's money Reggie Bush when he got on his own. It's already been proven, bro.
Bro, but okay.
I'm glad he didn't get that Heisman back, did he?
Yeah, he did. But the story with Reggie Bush was Reggie Bush basically told this dude he would sign with him as an agent as soon as he make the league, and then Reggie Bush backed out of it. But that deal had nothing to do with USC. I'm joking. I know USC paid, but that Reggie Bush shit didn't.
I hate it.
That wasn't a USC deal. That was a Reggie Bush deal on his own. And if his dumbass would have stuck to his word, it would have never came out. But he switched up on them dudes, and that's why they ended up busting him out.
Yeah, I hate when they used to do that to them guys as far as the agents. I mean, you got guys from certain situations. It's like, bro, I'm especially someone like, it might be different at other schools, but at USC, you right there in LA, and you see all this money, and you see the coaches and the head coach and the program with all this money. Why I'm not gonna take $250? That's a discount. I'm gonna take this little money, help my people out, and then I'm gonna go pro or whatever, and So I hate it because it's just hypocrisy, man. Because it's like you got the coach with a $5 million shoe deal, apparel deal. He get to go and do appearances, and I can't, before NIL, I can't sign my name. Johnny Manziel was a F up, but he's signing his name because I go into the store and I see my jersey. You selling for $175. Like, nah, man, that's wild. Like just the way
Rally House.
And it's just the system is just gonna implode. It's gonna implode if they don't get their hands on it. And I'm not gonna lie. The older I got, I felt like, man, I'm watching these guys play out here paying for free. I feel a little bit better like watching them and seeing like, okay, they can't get some bag or more guys can get a bag. So I was like, I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. But switching gears, Sonny, what you think about the Celtics and the Heat, man?
I actually would like them to get paid, man, because
go ahead.
Because SEC, the whole mother breed of players. Well, I was just okay. So when you say the whole thing about
most will be on that college today, see?
What I will say is what they've done with football, and it's very smart, and they've done a rebound basically over the last decade. Go back and look up the concussion settlement. If you look up the concussion settlement, and then they had like the movie Concussion, and all the talks about the plays came out was different. And now one thing I can say is I can remember some of the older football games. If you want to be honest, go look at some of them box scores. And look at the box score, and then look at the way the game was played. It really was like a totally different game. And like while I did enjoy it, I do appreciate the fact that you making the game a little bit safer for guys so they can try to have a longer career and a little bit more exciting. Because I think if we play football like we did in '94 right now, I don't think the ratings would be as high. I really don't think the ratings would be that high. Because you can look at it.
I disagree.
I see some of them games and it's like, damn, this game, if you see them, you know what I'm saying, with that 90s, that neck roll, when you see that neck roll and them that extender they had, you see all them jumbo pads. and fullbacks and tight ends that really couldn't catch. They were like, when literally tight ends were like a sixth offensive lineman, and that kind of football was grinding, like it was. But as far as on the excitement level, I don't know.
It's just like basketball, how they had to, people want to see more offense, so that's what they started changing the rules. Everybody liked to go back to the old school basketball days when they literally body slamming each other on the court. But they had to change that, they had to get away from that. And of course, they saw, the front office see like the improvement in the ratings and all of that. So the way they had to change the rules, clean that up, people want to see offense, people want to, see more scoring, see more skill being shown. Same exact thing on the NFL, when they started making it more of a passing league. But with the NFL, it was, they had the whole concussion thing too. They had to kind of stay away from. So this was like in college football, no different. They want to be, basically majority of the sports now, baseball right now, they don't know what the hell they want to do right now. They trying to speed the game up. They don't know what they want to do. But majority of the sports, they want to see more skill and offense. So that means kind of toning down some of the physicality in them. You're seeing it happen, across a lot of American sports.
Now, I disagree, man. I disagree with my man Dante.
I'm with you on the targeting rule. The targeting rule, I know it's to keep them safe, but when you got a rule that, okay, I'm playing in the national championship, or I'm playing against my rival, and now it's the first half of this game, I'm making an impact, I make a mistake, and now you take me out for the rest of the game. I can't come back until the next game. Or if I play a good game, we end up winning this game, I get ejected in the fourth quarter. That means I'm out for the half of the next game. Like I don't like the target rule. Like I understand the premise, but I understand the premise, but nah. And as far as what you said about the SEC killing it, we were just saying like if USC builds this base up and the rest of the pack, as USC goes, the Pac-12 goes. As we seen, Oregon has been making runs in the Pac-12, but they ain't USC. And as much money as Phil Knight got,
roll over the playoffs.
With USC, if USC has an 11-1 year, they're in the playoffs. Without question, you could talk about the conference being weak. You could talk about Clemson being weak. And when the team builds a brand that strong, they'll bring the rest of the conference with them. So as USC goes, the Pac-12 goes. And I think that's just I don't like it either. I don't like that Texas is going to the SEC. I will never chant those words. I will never chant that. I can't rock with that, but we couldn't get it done in the Big 12, so we'll see how it goes. I'm not optimistic right now how it goes, even though it's looking like Arch Manning is going to go to Texas. So I don't know. That's kind of, but I could talk. But yeah, I could talk to you all day about college because I'm a person that, as far as recruiting, I like recruiting and I like the draft because for one thing, it's the one time you get a little bit of a human profile of the kids. Like you get to see what is this player like, what do they do, and then on the blog sites that follow it and stuff, they give a lot of insight on the kids and they talk about what they do and what they like. Like one thing about the kid at Texas that was committed, he goes to a school in Arlington, Texas, and they were talking about how he basically was going to commit to Texas. He like secretly committed, but he wanted the national signing day look, because everybody does the early one. He did the late one, and everybody was like, yeah, we kind of knew he was there. Like he just did the whole deal. Like, why not take a free visit to Oklahoma? Why not take a visit? And the whole time, shit, I ain't coming here, but I'm gonna let you treat me nice. And that's what the kid that Jordan Addison did when he went to USC. They put it out there like, oh man, he getting the bag from USC to go. So he had to put on the show. Let me go to Texas. Let me put Alabama on the list. Came to Texas, kicked it, went out to USC. Couple of days later, signed the deal. College football is I like it that it's more in the open about the bag men and the deals and stuff that they play. Hey, Bobby said he said Texas they never gonna win the SEC. Hey, look,
no,
I'm not very optimistic about that. I'm not very optimistic about that at all about them winning the SEC. Like I said, for the teams that I root for, I am realistic, and I'll tell you, hey, I just want them to do good for right now, and we'll see what happens. Because Bobby, the one thing I can tell you that does give me hope is what we've been talking about the whole segment, NIL. And you talk about a big bag, hey.
Yeah, them Texas. That's one thing Texas has. Them boosters. I always agreed with what's his name, Herb Street. He mentioned years ago, and it's kind of been true and proved since about that whole Texas program when he called them a cesspool. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just Texas. They're boosters and they're cocky. They got that money. They just have all that money, but they not showing nothing on the field. Now I don't know why they all agreed to go to SEC because they just gonna
Big
get
12 is
punished.
sinking.
Yeah. I think I read somewhere now that they are actually, because for the longest they didn't want U of H to come. U of H tried to knock on their door. They were trying to knock on their door. That's when U of H was they was building.
Yeah.
You know, and Texas like we don't want y'all to come because U of H. I think at that time that's when Ed Oliver and them boys was on that squad, and they was beating Florida State. I think they beat Oklahoma. They was coming, and then they said, "Nah, you stay back where you at, because we gotta deal with Oklahoma. We gotta want to deal with you in state."
What it is they know, hey man, as far as a Houston man, I think Houston is in the top 3 of people from a city that loves that city and don't want to, like, other people be like, oh, I want to go get out somewhere else. If you can make U of H like a top-notch program, you get a whole bunch of Houston kids staying there. You get a whole bunch of them, and they know that. And when Texas was slipping, to answer your question, when they were slipping and U of H was coming up and they wasn't winning and they were bringing in the wrong, they wasn't supporting the coaches, or there were too many cooks in the kitchen with the boosters. U of H was doing this thing, and they knew if they brought U of H in, they would lose more talent. So they want to block them off, and then they still not handling their business themselves. Because at first they had a problem getting Houston talent, and that's what Herman came in and helped it a little bit. Then it was like, okay, you're not getting the DFW talent. You're not going and getting the guys from Duncanville. You're not getting the guys from Allen. You're not getting from all them, the Frisco schools, all that. You're not getting them guys, and the Cedar Hills. And so what they have to do is they just gotta win. They gotta produce. Like right now, they're getting the offensive guys because you got an offensive coach, but you're not gonna get like the defensive recruit. It's a guy that's a 5-star. He's a linebacker from I think he's from one of the Denton schools, Anthony Hill. They was like, none of them guys want to commit, but the offensive guys are falling in love. Like they want to come and put up points because he can tell them. Sark coached the offense at Bama. He's like, man, I got this player in the NFL. I can do this. So it's one of them deals where guys can recruit better what you win, because you can recruit all day long to rebuild a program, but eventually you have to rebuild the wins. You got to get some wins to show a guy like, I'm not coming here to a shithole. Because that's the thing why I never believed it about Arch Manning. I was like, why would he come here and not go to Georgia? And like, because they said that what they cared about was not letting him come in as a savior, because they saw what happened with Eli and Peyton. They don't want, well, more so Peyton and Eli. Ole Miss don't really win like that, but Peyton was the savior at Tennessee and everything. And it was crazy how like he couldn't beat Florida, and then as soon as he leaves, T. Martin
win it.
Yeah. That was the first thing I was like,
I wanted to mention this before we jump over back to the NBA. I know a lot of, when it comes to college football, a lot of states take pride, in their players. Like, oh, he's a California player, to wherever he go, whatever school he end up choosing. Like if he's going to Alabama, but from California or from Texas, from Florida, whatever. Houston is one city, and I can't think of too much as when it comes to cities. Houston is like a talent pool, like you said about U of H, how a lot of their big players come within the city. Like, you already know about how Texas as a state is with their players and the caliber of players that they go to, all these other Power 5 schools. But I can't think of a city like Houston. If you think of a lot of Houston to be having these key players, they don't always stay within the state. They'll go, you see them in Oregon, you see them, but they always, like, a lot of Houston area players be like key, major, impactful players at their respective schools. So that's why Houston, like when you bring it up, if U of H is just somehow just locked down on that Houston talent, just the city alone.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why you saw Houston challenging the Florida States, the Oklahomas, and why Texas didn't want them to come. If
Nope.
they can lock down, of course they got to recruit, somewhere else. But a lot of these states say, "Oh, they from California." Even Texas, we from Texas or Louisiana. But Houston's like, "Yeah, we got it right
who tried
here."
to copy that? You know, tried to copy that.
Who that?
This is my last point. I'm gonna take a shot at somebody on this one. SMU tried that. Tried that, and they came in. I can't lie. In the 100th anniversary, the 100th battle for the Iron Skillet, when they played TCU and they came to Fort Worth, they had the triple D's on their helmets and all of that. And we just came and took their effing coach, and now they can go back there to irrelevancy, and they didn't get into the Big 12. I gotta take that shot at Dallas real quick, being from Fort Worth, but hey, they gotta hold that L. They gotta hold it. And they talked about us in the they talked about Fort Worth in the Pony Excess documentary. When they was doing it, they was like, some schools played the wrong players, and they showed the TCU helmet.
That's probably my favorite 30 for 30 right there.
That's my top three. That and the U. But I'm glad they got left out. And people were talking about why they get left out. Well, Houston brings the Houston market. If SMU comes, they don't really bring another market. And they did a good job of branding with Sonny Cumbie, and I hope he keeps doing it at TCU. He was putting the posters everywhere, Duncanville and all the places, trying to keep the kids there. It was a little disingenuous. He was making it look like them Highland Park, kids was over there going over there in South Dallas and shit. But I'm like, bro, we know that's a lie. But they was trying to make it look cool. But nah, they tried the same program, because if you could get the DFW talent and the greater Houston area talent in one place, you do a lot of winning, man. What was you going to? Bobby, you saying something, man?
Yes, sir. What you want me to answer? The NFL, how safe they trying to make it, or the college part?
Man, it's whichever way you want to go to, because we was gonna switch on to this hoops. Whichever one you want to answer with.
We just free fall today.
Okay, I'll make it real quick. With the NFL trying to make the game safety, man, I don't like it, because they doing that on their backs to the defensive players, man, and that is not cool for me, because I don't care how safe you trying to make the game, and the NFL still violent. I don't care what people say.
So you're not a fan of the whole concussion? You talking about the whole everything that's related to the concussion protocols and all that? That's basically when everything changed, when they started really focus on preventing concussions.
Yeah, but they're still getting concussions, so I don't care what kind of helmets you wear. They're still gonna get them. You're still gonna get them. I get the point, but like you kind of put in the defensive players in the bad play. That's my thing. That's my point, though. Like you got to only tackle the player. You only on his chest. Like you are assuming that this player, the offensive player, doesn't move. Like you know how hard that is. The defense already, in a disadvantage, and you creating all these rules on their backs, pretty much.
Oh, I would say I believe the hardest position in the NFL is the cornerback. They got to guard the fastest player, and then the rules are completely for the offensive player, so they can't touch them, they can't do anything. So they are by far the most disadvantaged position. I
would say them in defensive end, because defensive end don't know what the fuck to do when they get to the quarterback now. It's like, damn, do I make his bed, lay him down on his pillow, or what the fuck?
It was.
I was gonna say defensive tackle.
It was a while back, and it was a DN. The Titans won the game because the DN got in the backfield. But it was just like he was like, "What do I do? I got a penalty," and this young just ran off, and they threw the ball and won the game, because it's like they're that in trouble. Some of that is from that damn Brady knee injury. After the 16-1 year or whatever that he hurt his knee. They put the rule you can't hit him here. So basically, you can only hit a quarterback from here. Just that level, and so that's why and I feel you on that, but I feel you as far as adjusting it. They should sway it a little more the defensive way, but they are making it into where it can be the defensive player. They can make an impact. Now, instead of sacking the quarterback, they're more so going for the ball. It's like, okay, I see them throwing, I'm going for the ball. They hacking down at it, and then, they get them down. Yeah, you get them down because that's how you get paid. But, I mean, now I'm with you on that. I really want them to make it to where it's more even, so that the defensive players aren't so restricted, because you're going to need premier athletes to cover the Tyreek Hills, to cover the Kelseys, to you need more. It's hard, but you need a couple more Michael Parsons and guys like that. You need some more, what's his name? You need some more Jalen Ramseys at cornerback, and maybe a few less at receiver to kind of even it up. and get guys to want to play that. But as far as football goes, I would not. If my son plays ball, I'm not gonna let him play running back. Like no.
Oh
like,
hell no. They get
like, nah,
they get run over every play.
They get a tough deal. But man, I appreciate y'all being active in the chat, Sir Hell Speaks. I appreciate you coming through, man. Appreciate that. But I would say since we own the sport NFL, I want to bring up a topic. You know, I guess you can probably say it's controversial. I appreciate the ladies who be watching our show. So I definitely much respect to them. I don't want to say anything, you know, disrespectful, you know, in that terms. But I want to talk about the whole Deshaun Watson thing. It seems like they didn't put like another shot in it to put it back in the news now, since some of the accusers now. I still haven't saw the interview, but you know they recently went on to HBO Real Sports, you know, an interview. It's just because to me it's almost like it seems like systematic in a point where the ladies came out and accused Watson a while ago, like, you know, months ago, and you would think, okay, that's when the time HBO or somebody would have been reaching out to them to let them tell their story. Mm-hmm. But time goes on. Watson finally gets out of Houston. Watson goes to Cleveland. Then Watson gets this huge guaranteed contract, which the other NFL teams are pissed off about. And then not even really do with what he has going on, just strictly about the money. Then all of a sudden, you know, the HBO interviews come back. So, and it kind of like, and then I forgot to mention about it made it to two grand juries, and they both just flat out dismissed the case. So it seems like, okay, this piece, I guess, they got past this one, I won't say obstacle, got past this one checkpoint, which was the getting out of Houston.
Criminal.
Yeah,
and then that's another checkpoint, the whole criminal thing, with the grand jury turning it down. So it just seems like, okay, then now you come with the interviews, you just give it that shot again to keep it in the news, and it's just further, you know, to further diminish his name until it's all said and done. Now, I don't think it will ever be, I guess, proven whether it's guilty or not guilty. That's the only thing about basically a he say, she say type of case. Unfortunately, but I always believe that, you know, Watson you should never put yourself in that situation.
No.
You're a professional athlete. You got to have a trusted circle. Why are you going to 22 different women, and at least 22, probably even more women? You putting yourself in that situation. I'm not saying what the ladies accused. Go ahead, Tom.
I was with you on that at first, and then one of my partners, he kind of kicked it to me, and I ain't think about it this way. Why does nigga have so many masseuses? You don't think that's what
I was getting at? Because usually a professional athlete, they keep such a close circle because they damn near paranoid.
That's the only thing that make me think he might be guilty, bro. Is why the fuck you got 27 masseuses in like 2 years?
Yeah,
that's some weird shit.
It's simple. We mentioned that before.
It's simple.
Where, like, that's his, basically that's his way to get women, and that's like maybe he's seen too many of that on
bingo.
You know, on the internet, and that's his get down. But bro, you're a weirdo. But if you're gonna be weird, don't be stupid. You got 22 different people doing this. A professional athlete touching your back, something that they have not fully mastered. So if they have to do surgery, hey man, your career is basically in jeopardy. You let 22 different hands touch your back. That was a red flag. When it was like a few, I was like, okay. When it was 22, I was like, homie, about to miss some time because something happened. And then like I would read some of the stories, and I was like, bro, I can't read this shit. I can't. And like and then I can understand the women coming out and dropping it right now and being like one of them, the article read that he's basically getting rewarded for what he did. And I was like, God, I know they feel like that because that's you know, you thought, okay, he's gonna get traded. You didn't think he was gonna get a new bag. Like,
I think they probably would have said that with God, because he did the same thing with Vic where he got a second chance after he paid his dues.
Yeah.
And people just once they label you as, you know, that whatever you've been accused of, they literally want your career to go. They don't want you to get another opportunity. I mean, you don't even have to be found guilty. They just don't want you to get a new, I guess, a second chance per se.
Nothing of that magnitude.
Yeah.
And what the problem is with the NFL and the NFL players they gotta. I wish the NFL would move off of that, and it would be a lot better for them. They could run under the guise of, hey, he was found not guilty. They didn't take it to court. You know, the civil suit is another situation. We just gonna roll with him. He's gonna play or whatever. But they still play there. Hey, we're gonna investigate and figure out what happened. And the real, I think the bigger issue is all of the 22, if I'm not mistaken, is not all sexual assault. What some of them is sexual misconduct.
They all lawsuits.
We are in the Me Too era.
Mm-hmm.
And
let me say this real quick, man.
I don't, you know, it's something where you can't discount what the women said, and they're gonna talk to the NFL. Some of them said they felt disrespected by the NFL. They didn't feel like it was, they believed them. But the NFL is gonna do their investigation, and I think he's missing. If I had to put money on it in Vegas, I would say I would feel safe anywhere in the 4 to 6 range. If it was more than that, I'd be surprised. But 4 to 6, he gonna sit down.
Let me say this real quick, man. I got a few homies in the NFL, so all those so-called Masood is pretty normal for those guys. And what most people don't understand, I used to be in the inside. I used to be like right there looking at everything. Is a lot of these girls that they really know, they don't know anything about massage, but they put that in their bio. Like in Instagram, because that's where he was getting them from. In Instagram, girls know this. If they look good, they can put that as a title. Oh, I do massages. I'm a massage therapist. Nah, they just want to get close to guys with money, bro. And listen, I don't know. I disagree with both of y'all right now because I really believe that man, Deshaun Watson, he got ringed over, bro. They played that man because I don't care about he with the
that dude sounds of that shit.
Like I don't care if he was within 22 minutes. So this is a 23, 24-year-old guy that seen pretty females on Instagram and hit him up, and he would just holler at them. And these females, they probably throw the whole massage job title right there, bro.
But that is seen it all the time. Weirdo, bro. Like these weirdos want specific shit, bro. That man ain't had 22 massages in 2 years for no reason, bro. That ain't
hear me out. Hear me out, bro. Hear me out, fam. The thing that I really I don't believe this women, bro, is because and it sucks because it's real females out here that going through real drama, right? That's the part that really pissed me off. Because why do you go for the money and don't go for the criminal? That's the first thing I always look at this case and like, hold on, man, this man violated you, and then you just gonna go to the civil route. Why don't you go to the police, man? Like a normal human being, because they want the money. They want the money. I also believe that Houston, Texas got something to do with that, man, because all of this came out when the man asked for a trade. How ironic. All of this came out when he asked for a trade. Everything was good when he wanted to play quarterback for them.
Hey, Poppy, we got to wrap it up here. So closing remarks.
Yeah.
What you said about the is 100% correct. Now I'm not saying that they concocted these cases, but what they did do, what every NFL, every organization, professional sports, they get information first, and they know, okay, what do we do with this? Let's pay our media people to not say nothing, and we're gonna shove it under the rug. When he said he wanted to be traded, they let the hounds go and they let it loose. Robert Littell, Black Sports Online, he was talking about that when the situation was happening. Like, every team got Ray Donovans that clean stuff up. So they let it go and they didn't give him any halo of protection. But I'm just saying, my only thing is 22 accusers, and I can't. It's a bad look, and I won't go as far as you going, Poppy. But it's just like, look, it's a real bad look. That's my last.
I understand what Poppy is getting at because basically since it's an Houston thing, I definitely was following it, and just how the whole thing just got started. I mean, obviously, when it first got started, the lawyer was trying to convict him in the court of public opinion because he's the one who just randomly, one day you looking at your computer, next thing you know, you see this Instagram post from a lawyer, and it just sparked everything. He like, man, dude, you should have just taken this to court. But I guess he knew it was going to be a civil case the whole time, and he say, she say, so get some fire underneath him via court of public opinion. So and then you look at some of the stuff that goes. I mean, it's kind of weird to me that you got 22 accusations out there, but they found nothing. But like I said, I'm willing to let this whole thing go through the court process. And I know we're about to close it down for a little bit. But Tommy, I believe you had an opinion about it. I want to hear you out real quick. Tommy still there? It looks like Tommy rolled out. But I know he sounded like he had a feedback on there. And Marcus, I see you on. Did you have anything about the topic?
I came late, so I apologize, guys. My bad.
Oh, you good?
I wanted to ask how everybody was doing because I know we got some tragic news yesterday in Texas. So, shout out, condolences, rest in peace to the victims and the families. What happened in Uvalde, Texas, Ross Elementary. But I think Nick Saban's a hater just because primetime Deion Sanders, he be doing his thing. I seen it. I was there. Stop the cap. Nick Saban's just mad because Alabama was not at the national title game. That's why he mad. Listen, he needs to go to the massage parlor and take a little woosah and be chill. Enough. You got enough rings. Let me get some dings.
Tommy,
that nigga ain't got a damn ring. I don't know what you talking about. That's right. You let that shit talk football.
Oh man.
Nah, it's definitely Tekashi Saban, 6'9". He's a certified rat. That shit was ridiculous. But nah, and I was with Poppy on the Deshaun Watson thing. I was with him for a minute until my partner was like, bro, why this nigga got so many fucking masseuses? And that right there, and I agree with him too, that they should be going for the criminal and all that shit. But I don't know, bro. Having 20-something masseuses in 2 years, bro, that raises a flag for me. You know what I'm saying? I agree with him though that this shit didn't come out until he asked for trade. I was on board with all of that shit until I thought about why does this nigga had 20 masseuses in 2 years? That's some weirdo shit. So.
Yeah, because whether you believe that it happened or not, the dude still went to go see, and that 22 is just who accused him. I believe he actually went to go see more.
Yeah,
like, dude, why are you supposed to keep your circle tight, especially as a professional athlete? And you
not even that though. Just like Tom Brady and them, they got one person that handle that business. You know what I'm saying? Like, so if you're going through 20 of them, it don't even seem like you looking for this person to handle it. You just looking for a motherfucker to touch you. You feel me? So, but yeah, y'all be on the lookout for USC. We on our way back. Lincoln Riley. You feel me? All them California boys staying home. You feel me? And we about to go ahead and take over this Pac-12, and we about to go ahead and get us another ring, baby.
Hey,
real shit.
Forward to it. I can't wait to have you on during college football season, bro. I really.
Hey, I'm gonna be here too, baby. I'm gonna be around. You feel me?
I appreciate you.
Hey, if I don't catch this monkeypox.
Hell yeah, you got enough stuff going about it.
All right, this is Black Man Unfiltered Network, man. It's the 1-on-1 sports show, man. We signing off, man. We'll holler at y'all next week. Appreciate y'all in the chat. Appreciate the energy, man. I'm Dante.
I'm Shawnee.
We out, man.
All right, peace.